So you find yourself in that situation where you meet a stunning girl. After a couple of dates, things are going well and the two of you are hitting things off. However, there is no spark and things don't seem to want to move any further. It is here where one person will need to make a move and many don't know when. By watching today's video, you will know exactly when she wants you to make the move. We will be exploring every subtle sign that most older women tend to show whenever they are attracted. Yes, you will need to have at least some initial attraction if you're going to get the best results from your specific encounter with her. Keep in mind that some of these signs are actually universal and by themselves. Each one might not be enough evidence that she wants you to make the move. However, when you notice more of them stacking up, it's often one of the clearest signs that something's up and you should go in for the kiss. Number 1. She devotes attention to you. The number one thing older women generally do whenever they feel attraction towards someone is devote more of their attention to this person. You see, in the modern era, social media has made it accessible for older women to meet almost any man. This means they don't need to give anyone any attention and they can simply wait for men to come to them. Since this phenomenon has been happening for the last few years, more and more older women have pulled back and now allow men to battle for them, much like the ancient gladiators of old. So whenever you manage to get the attention of an older woman and she's not pushing you away, you can be sure that there is some form of attraction between the two of you. The best course of action is to keep the status quo and continue building on this. Ideally, you want to finally have almost all of her attention occupied in the form of habits. Whenever you hold all the power of an older woman's attention, you have basically won, and this will ensure you don't have to fret about having too much competition from the outside. Number 2, she hints at free time. The next one is often missed by many men. You see, older women rarely tell you if they have free time. The main reason for this is that whenever many weak men sniff an inkling of free time from older women, they completely dive into this and think that she is now attracted and wants to do something. Once the guy makes a proposition for a date and she declines, he will become mean due to her having free time and rejecting him. It is for this reason that most older women try to completely occupy their own schedules and ensure that not a moment is wasted, or at least no one knows when they have available time. So since older women do not allow men to know when they have free time, an older woman who does hint at this might be interested in doing something or having you occupy the time. Your goal should be to come up with something fun and exciting that the two of you should consider doing. However, if she does reject your advances, you should not be persistent and understand that even though she's mentioned free time, she doesn't have any interest. The upside to this is that whenever she tells you she has free time, the probability of her saying yes is something that should play into your hand and allow you to do something together. Number 3, the way she dresses. One of the big issues when it comes to older women is the way they dress. You see, most older women will try to look their very best whenever they go on a date and like the guy. However, if she's just using you as a means to an end, she will arrive in whatever she feels comfortable wearing just to get it over and have some fun. Whenever an older woman truly likes and desires a guy, the level of effort she's willing to put into her appearance is often something very few people can truly comprehend. It is for this specific reason that you can use this as a way of seeing how much she actually likes you and is willing to invest in the relationship. Bear in mind that a fancy event demands more effort when it comes to dressing up, and this cannot actually be judged as a way of seeing how interested she is. You will want to take her out to something casual and see if she's willing to put in some effort. You see, if she truly likes you and wants you to make that critical move, she will wear something that makes her seem attractive regardless of comfort. An older woman who pitches up in a tracksuit doesn't truly care what you think of her, and she'll even just tell you that you'll need to accept her for who she is around you. Number 4. Positive demeanor. If we look at some of the psychology of the female mind, one of the important things to take careful note of is actually her demeanor when you're talking to her. You see, some older women can be friendly with most people, but older women for the most part refrain from being too friendly or polite with random men. The reason for this is very simple, and it's often due to the fact that men misread these signs. Whenever an older woman seems too friendly, men are not willing to allow the situation to play out or run its course. You see, Every man driven by his hormones would take this as a sign that she is sexually interested in them. Since this happens often, older women have taught themselves to stand down and not invest too much in the men around them. In fact, they will treat many men with a neutral demeanor, refraining from showing any true emotions or even weaknesses. So whenever she opens up to you or always seems to be very polite, it is a positive sign. Some friendliness heavily depends on overall mood. This one is tricky to decipher by itself, and it is recommended that you consider looking at some of the other main principles that could help you to aid in deciphering exactly what could actually be going on in this situation. We would recommend that you look for more than simply just one sign. Number 5. Fiddling with jewelry and clothing. You have probably noticed that whenever you feel a little anxious, you might be fiddling with some of your clothing or even the jewelry if you so happen to wear any. This is not only something older women do, but is a sign of anxiety regardless of who the person is. Whenever you notice her constantly fiddling with her jewelry or trying to make sure that everything remains perfect, she is comforting herself whilst making sure that she continues to look as good as she possibly can. In fact, this sign is often so subtle that only the most observant of men realize or notice what is happening. One sneaky little trick you can use when you notice this is to calm her down with either a joke or just to reassure her that she's looking absolutely gorgeous. This should not only elicit some kind of a smile and in many cases a rebuttal, but it will also calm her down and she might continue giving you more and more hints. The next one is the one that often follows this fiddling with jewelry, especially when she's now consciously aware she's doing it. Number 6. Playing with her hair. When an older woman is playing with her hair, it is often accepted as a universal sign of pure attraction. Much like the jewelry situation, it is another comforting and soothing form of behavior which helps to alleviate some of the stress. This could be in various forms like constantly adjusting her hair or even just twirling it around in her finger. Like many of the other signs, it will be accompanied by facial expressions that often show submission and might even hint at the fact that she's expecting things to ramp up a little. Once again, a solid compliment is something that could draw her in even more, and whilst it might not make her stop playing with her hair, you are slowly moving in the right direction to ensure that everything is going in the right direction. Number 7. Laughing at your jokes. Older women and men are all likely to laugh at something funny, but in some cases, someone might laugh a little too much at a joke that's not even considered funny. You see, whenever an older woman finds you attractive, she'll try to do almost everything she can to make you feel like she's interested. This means that whenever you make a joke, she's more than likely to be laughing, as it's a way of showing her interest in you. In fact, you can even experiment with this by purposely making some of these bad jokes to see if she does have enough interest to actually continue laughing at them. You'll also notice that whenever someone else is making jokes, she will subtly glance at you to see what your reaction is. This often happens inadvertently as we try to follow the lead of the person we respect the most. You will rarely see her laughing at jokes that you don't respond to, and if she does, it could possibly mean that she's finding the other guy attractive as well. Once again, the best course of action is to wait it out and see where things are actually heading. Number 8. The establishment of touch. One thing that often clearly signals whether or not someone likes you is if you can get close to them and touch them. You see, breaking the touch barrier is not as easy as you might think, and many people refrain from this. In the case of older women often pull back and have clear boundaries around them, since they know how men are and what men want. Older women only allow those they truly like to actually get close to them and touch them. However, if she likes you, she'll not only allow you to get close to her, but she's more than likely to make the moves herself. Now keep in mind that this might not be direct, and in many cases, they choose the subtle route, which allows them to have some plausible deniability. Ideally, you want to actually go with the flow and allow her to subtly touch you, and as time goes by, you want to take it up a notch and hold her hand or place your hand on her back. At this point, she is essentially allowing you to make your move. However, you should always continue to be as respectful as possible. Number 9. Eye contact. When it comes to eye contact, you might already have guessed that it is a sign of attraction. However, it is often tricky to know which form of eye contact you should be looking at and what it actually means. You see, the way older women look at people might vary, and when it comes to older women, things are often different. In many cases, if an older woman does find you attractive, she'll look at you, but often shy away if you notice. This is especially true for many older women and something you might have already experienced when you were younger. This happens because many older women are more likely to have lower levels of confidence due to societal pressures. However, you'll notice this sign often stacking up with many of the other ones mentioned. In fact, it should be one of the easiest to pick up on. Once you get to the point where she's consistently glancing and shying away, you should start making a more serious move. Ideally, you'll want to get to the point where she can maintain this eye contact for a few seconds and not feel awkward about it. This is often considered the moment you can actually make a move. Number 10. Open body language. Whilst touch is often a sign that shows interest, you might not want to get to the point of touching unless you've noticed the eye contact and the body language of this person. If we look at body language, you'll see that most older women with a closed-off body language won't even look at you when talking. Many of them might simply give you a side eye or even refuse to look in your direction. On the other hand, whenever she's attracted to you, she will not only turn her whole body in your direction, but you'll also notice that her arms will not be crossed, and she'll often be more open in her movements. This is the ideal situation you want to be in before you make a move. Much like the subtle touch and eye contact, body language is one of the more subtle signs and only starts to become apparent when you're in an intimate conversation. This is also a great way to actually test the waters a little, and you can also open up your own body language to see if she responds in the same way. Number 11. Blushing or fidgeting. Much like some of the other signs we've mentioned, this one is based on her anxiety and the way she deals with it. Blushing is a universal sign of someone feeling a little anxious and even somewhat under pressure. Whenever you pay her a compliment and she's suddenly blushing, it could mean that she likes you and is almost too shy to respond. However, this sign often stacks up with other forms of fidgeting, and as we have mentioned, it could be fiddling with jewelry or clothing and even playing with her hair. Once you notice this, you can be sure that something is up and it's time for you to start making a few moves. The best course of action is to pay more compliments to her. This will force her to continue blushing and allow you to start moving in closer to her. It is another form of anxiety that only the most observant will notice, but it is definitely one that you should keep in mind whenever you want to get things going. Number 12. Inviting you to do things. If an older woman truly likes you, it is often not always easy for her to simply go out and say it. As we've mentioned, some older women are shy or have been taught that society requires men to make the first move. With this in mind, many older women might hint at things they would like to do or even ask you to accompany them. However, this is a sign that you need to act upon, and if you simply refuse, she might lose interest. This goes hand in hand with her mentioning the free time that she might have, and you'll notice that as soon as you start suggesting ideas, she'll often light up or be more interested in certain ones. Ideally, you want to listen carefully to things that she says and work on building a list of things that the two of you can actually do. However, she might only suggest things she likes, and once you notice she accepts some of your suggestions, you should start acting upon them. It is at this moment that you can start putting things into motion and taking your relationship to the next level. Conclusion. So if you've ever found yourself feeling clueless about what the girl in front of you is thinking, some of these signs should help you to better understand the situation. These signs have been tested and proven by various dating experts and can help you know when to make the move. In the end, making the first move often falls on the shoulders of the man, and the best course of action is to ensure that she's open and ready. These signs will help you to better understand the situation and hopefully enable you to be more successful in your dating life. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips and tricks, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. You can also leave us a comment with any questions you might have and we'll answer them in the next video.